Good morning, my fine feathered hiking friends. This is Little Hike Mike. And as you can see, I'm on a little hike around my neighborhood. Thanks for watching, and I hope you continue to watch. The reason for this video is to answer a challenge put out by one of my favorite YouTube channels that I like to watch, and that's As the Crow Flies. And he has put out a challenge to some of his favorite channels, and then also to everybody else who would like to post one. So I'm going to. And it is to tell us and show us their favorite hiking trail that they've hiked on. And so I'm going to do that. There is a caveat though. One thing is, on this short introduction video, I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself and where I'm coming from. And then my biggest and most favorite trail was one of the very first backcountry trails that I went on. This was my idea, and I did it pretty much all by myself. I had a few people with me. I had a few people with me. One was my then girlfriend, who is now my wonderful wife. But I'm going to tell you about this trail in just a few minutes. But I want you to see and hear where I'm coming from. See, I come from a different age than many of you YouTubers who are putting out videos today about hiking, camping, backpacking. I come from the 60s and 70s, and that's when I first got my backpacking and hiking experience. Of course, the first was in the Boy Scouts, like a lot of you have. But then I had an interest in backpacking and hiking right after high school, and I went on several trips, started to buy some gear, sleeping equipment, backpacks, that sort of thing. Used my Boy Scout cook kit, that sort of thing. And my favorite hike, my favorite backpacking trip was back in 1971. So I hope you'll bear with me to let me tell you a little bit about it and not show you, because I can't. Oh, I might have some pictures buried somewhere, but I don't have any video. I don't have any recording. I don't have any maps. I just have the memory in my mind. And you know what? For an 18, 19-year-old kid who takes upon himself to go into the backcountry like that, it was more like a coming out, a step into manhood, you might say. But I'll tell you a little bit about me first, and then I'll tell you my favorite hiking trail. First of all, I graduated in 1970 from high school, and some of you will remember, I know that if senior hiker, if you're watching this, you'll remember Earth Day. You'll remember the early 70s when the environmental movement got started, and about the political football there was about helping to save the environment. Yeah, that came about early on in the 70s, Earth Day, May Day. And that's when I was starting to backpack and hike. See, so it inspired me to go to college and get involved with some of the environmental sciences. So I enrolled in The Ohio State University, and I got a degree in land management planning. And while I was there was the Ohio State Mountaineering Club. And if somebody out there in YouTube world happens to see this video, and you were a member of the Ohio State Mountaineering Club back in the mid-70s, 76, 77, somewhere in there, then you probably knew me. But we went on some pretty exciting trips. One was to Colorado, Rocky Mountain National Park. And we started up Long's Peak, and we couldn't complete Long's Peak because of weather. So some of you mountaineering people know what it's like to have to turn back, which is what we had to do. And then there were trips down into West Virginia, shorter trips from Ohio. And then there was one trip in particular, was the trip to the Appalachian Trail. And that was a harrowing experience, as were some of my other trips, like my favorite hike. It was a little bit of a harrowing trip. But you'll have to hear about that at some other time. I'm just going to tell you where it was and a little bit about it. But anyway, the Ohio State Mountaineering Club was a great place to learn and experience things that you would want to know as a backpacker, hiker, camper. And I learned all that back then. But then, when a person enters their career and starts their family and has to make a living, sometimes your personal hobby or your interests kind of wane and go a different direction. So I lost track of that hobby, that sport. And so it wasn't until 2017, when I retired, that I decided that I was going to take back up my favorite sport, which was hiking, backpacking, camping, and mountaineering. So one of the reasons is, it's atypical. Not a lot of retirees choose that as a pastime, something to redeem the time. A lot of my friends are golfers or tennis players, but I chose backpacking, hiking, and camping. So that's what I do now. And that's where a lot of my videos on my channel are all about: hiking, backpacking, camping. I have a lot to learn, but that's what they're all about. So some of my favorite YouTubers I learned from were Evans Backpacking. And I started to follow him before he did the AT. And then he was doing a lot of shakedown hikes, so I like to watch his videos. And I learned a lot from him, especially about gear and that sort of thing. And then another shout out to some other people I started watching was Craig Maines, or Hawk. And I'm a big fan of Hawk. Not on your support team, Hawk, but I sure enjoy your videos. And I admire what you're doing. And one other guy that is kind of feisty and fiery on his videos sometime, and that's Quicksand. And he's on his third trip northbound on the AT right now, so it's exciting to see that. And he's only 48 years old, as far as I know. So anyway, as the crow flies, thanks for the challenge. And then some of his YouTubers that he mentioned were Side Trail Adventures. Shout out to you, Austin. And then also another guy I like to watch is Walker's World. Tom, shout out to you. And then of course Senior Hiker, who does a lot of gear reviews and that sort of thing. I like his. There's a lot of other ones on YouTube that I really enjoyed watching and that sort of thing. And so this video has gone on for about 10 minutes. I hope you've kept watching. But this is a little bit about Little Hike Mike. And so my favorite backpacking trip, my favorite hiking trail is Algonquin National Park in Canada. And just to tell you a little bit about it, don't have any recording, don't have any pictures. It's a trail that we set out on into the backcountry as far as I knew, into a lake area where we camped. And we hiked back out. We stayed there about 2 days. So to me, it was challenging to overcome some of the anxieties people have about backpacking into the backcountry. And one is getting lost. I don't even think I had a compass back then. I probably did. I just surely didn't have a Garmin InReach, which I have now. But the point is it was a coming out for me. It was a step into manhood to go, and I took my girlfriend, and I also took another friend of mine who was blind from birth. And he wanted to go, so he came, and I was like his lead dog. You know, he had his hand on my shoulder, and we hiked in as far as we went. And I mean, we were out in the middle of nowhere as far as I'm concerned, coming from an industrial town in Ohio. We were in the boonies. We were in the middle of the forest. And another friend of mine came too. Now there's a harrowing story about that trip, which, you know, you remember all that kind of stuff. But that was my favorite hike. Algonquin National Park. I can't tell you the name of the trail. I can't even tell you exactly where it was in Algonquin. But many of you out there have heard of Algonquin National Park in Canada, just north of Toronto. And some of you may have been there. So that would have to be my number one favorite, mainly because of the circumstances, not because of the views or anything like that. It was mainly because it was exciting. Now I will leave you with some footage of my second favorite trail, because early on in the mid-1970s I was able to traverse part of it, and that's the Appalachian Trail. So this was my second solo hike, about 60 miles, that I took in July of 2019. So I'll leave you with some footage of that, and also leave you, sorry about the dogs, but I'll leave you with a song that you may have to look up. I'm not sure I can put it on this video for you to be able to hear it, but it's by the Little River Band. And the song is It's a Long Way There. And it's just got a great tune, a great tagline, a great title, great music. And so I really enjoyed it, so I thought I'd leave you with that. And then also, if you did get through this entire video watching me tell you about my favorite trail, I'm going to put hashtag, pardon me, I'm going to put hashtag my favorite trail down at the bottom. And I hope, as the crow flies, I hope you see it. I hope you watched it, the whole thing. Shout out to you. Thanks for doing it. And hope to meet you someday. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel and you're watching this, just hit that subscribe button. And then also hit the bell, and it'll alert you to when I've posted another video. So I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for watching and watching this all the way through. You guys have a good day and keep on a hiking. Little Hike Mike. See you later. Hey, we are on some mountain. I don't know the name of it, the top of it. We just busted our rear ends to get up here. We came from over there and we're going down there. We're on the descent now. So, here we go. Why isn't that going? Oh, there we go. Hey, my fine feathered hiker friends. Here's one right there.
Oh my God. What's up, YouTubes?
Hey, we're nearing the end of my particular trek. I've been hiking with a guy named Postman who's been hiking ever since Front Royal, Harper's Ferry. And he's got a little less than 400 to go all the way to Springer. So we're coming to junction 19E. Where I hope there's a parking lot or something that we can safely travel, yeah. But
how many miles did you do?
Guys, today's my biggest hiking day ever in, well, I can't say ever. I might have done something like this back in my college days, but anyway, coming to the end of the hike today, and we're heading, I think we're heading down to the station at 19E. We have a little bit of a trek to do it, but anyway, I wanted to say thanks for watching, and please subscribe. Maybe I'll do a little clip on the station 19E.